Welcome home. Here, pain turns into wisdom. Here, questions turn into clarity. And here, women turn words into change. We are excited to have you here every Fridays at 3 p.m. So, get comfortable. The journey is about to start.
When we say we are women, we mean that we are brave, we are strong, we are capable, we are unique, we are woman to woman.
Good afternoon, South Africa. Good afternoon, Africa. Good afternoon, Tuku.
Good afternoon, Masha, and good afternoon to our viewers.
We are so excited today because we have prepared something so different from what you have ever seen.
Yeah.
Last week, Tuku, we spoke about the future. Mm-hmm. And we were sure that the women in 1956 had no idea of how we, women of 2025, are living today.
Exactly. You know, it's very interesting. The topic of today actually is very interesting because we gave you a clue. You know, we gave you a clue and we spoke about the women of 1956, their vision, and okay, most of them are no longer. We only have one remaining, but they never thought that it will be the way it is today, 2025.
And of course, that gave us a brilliant idea. Mm-hmm. If this is the last program of August, Women's Month in South Africa, why not keep it only between the two of us and one guest? We women like diversity.
Yes.
And that is what we bring to you today.
Yeah.
Shall we tell them?
And they will love it.
Yeah.
They definitely love it. Yeah.
So you might think that we are alone here in the studio, but we are going to introduce to you our contenders of today. Good afternoon to you, girls.
Good afternoon, Masha.
So we have Tapelo, Namsia, and Portia. Mm-hmm. And they are going to defend the conservatives. Yes. And here in the side we have Nobushi, we have Imbali, and we have Noma. And they are going to be the modern, the feminists. Look at what we brought today.
Very interesting.
Why? Because we have made few questions here.
Yeah.
And how do we women see ourselves in the future? Or with all the changes, with social work, with the tendencies, ideologies, where all those things are leading us to. Mm-hmm. Profitable ways or not? And we will allow you to have your own conclusions, isn't that?
It's better.
So today, Toko and I sit only at the guest seats because we are going to watch them debating about this questions you have.
We just hope they don't fight, physically fight.
At least we are far away from them, you see. They are in one setting, we are in another, we have time to run.
Exactly.
But who knows? Many of these questions will answer to your ideas, or at least will make you to think. Where do you think women will be in 2045, for instance? Shall we start? Mm-hmm. Are you ready, ladies?
Yes.
So here it works like this. We are going to choose a question, and we are going to throw the question at you. And you ladies will respond. Okay? Would you like to start?
I can definitely start. So the first question, should I choose the person to answer or they will answer?
No, don't get involved.
Yeah, it's better.
Too dangerous.
So the first question is the rise in single, child-free women a sign of progress or a symptom of societal breakdown?
So the question here is very interesting. Being single and having no children. Yeah, I already put in plural because here. No child. Is it progress or societal breakdown?
Definitely a societal breakdown.
Bali, go on.
I think it's societal breakdown. We find a lot of women being more confident being single and child-free because of the things that have happened in their eyes and that our parents have allowed, to the point where they now like, then if I'm not married, if I'm single and if I don't have a child, I can still be the woman of my own without being with the man that would probably abuse me or that will impregnate me and leave me with the child.
Can I? In support of a point also, I think I wouldn't view it as breakdown, but I'll see it as progress, because I think women now have noticed or have learned from past that if I'm not going to have a man to help me take care of this child, why should I have a child at all? So it allows them to have that freedom. I'm single, but at least I'm child-free. And I have got that liberty, because a child is also a responsibility. And ideally, a child should be raised in a nuclear family. That means with both parents. So if there's an absence of another parent, already there's an imbalance there. So because women have learned, and from past experiences, whether bad or positive, they now have that like progress, that idea that I can decide. Now I'm single, of course, but I can decide to be child-free. And they have got that decision over their bodies. Like, I don't want kids, then I'm okay.
So my opinion on this, it's both sides. So meaning that we have two groups of women. Women who have faced traumas, women who have went through a lot. So meaning that their decisions on how they want to live their lives, it will be based on what they have went through. So we have trauma, we have abuse, maybe they've seen this in their homes where they did not even have much as children. They went through that. But you have other women who are more of, I don't want to bring a child who's going to suffer in this world. As we look at the world right now, how things are going, things are just going bad. They're not looking good at all. So a woman would take a decision on, I don't want to bring another child in this world so that they can suffer as the other women, as other children, sorry.
And there's also issues of safety. I think when we look at the number of kids that are going missing nowadays, how kids just disappears, how things just happen where kids are always missing.
Yeah.
So some women are just thinking that, why should I bring a child into this world when the world is just cruel? It's no longer like before, where in the past people used to walk to school, but right now people don't do that anymore because it's no longer safe. So I think it could be part of the reasons as well.
She mentioned that because of trauma and the way things are going, like in this world, everything is going bad. There is no longer safety like it used to be back then. So if a woman is basing their decisions not to have a child and they're single, I would regard it as progress, because you have something to refer to and you have learned from it. You can see that since this world is going this way and there are more dangers than there are good in this path, I think it's progress that they are deciding to be single and child-free.
Hence I said my opinion is in between. I can't say that other women are right and others are wrong. I mean, it's just based on how you view the world at this moment, how things are going, and where do you stand as a woman.
I'd also like to add in, for me, I think it's progress, because if you are going to bring a child as a single woman, and you're just single with no male help, you are somehow passing on generational, it's generational, because you yourself, you were raised from single mother, single parent, so you're also passing on to the child, and again and again and again. So I think it's progress for you to do, as a woman, to decide not to have children until maybe you're married, or until you feel that it's now fine to have a child, preferably when you're married.
Now, I want to confuse things. What would you say about the concept of you can have your own child being single You know, the strong woman, the strong, independent woman. What would you say about that? The old tradition of saying, what are you doing of your life? You are 32 and you don't have a child. As if having a child, it would be part of growing in life. What is your take in this?
I personally wouldn't agree with it, because at the end of the day, raising a child on his own, it's a lot.
Yeah, and there's traumas that comes with that, especially raising a child without a father. There's issues where you find kids are speaking at school, they're speaking with their friends. It was weekend, I went out with my dad, I did this with my dad. And there you are, a single strong woman, your child doesn't have a father, she doesn't even know who her father is. So now it's causing traumas for the child. For you, because you are saying, okay, I can afford. But for the child, because they cannot relate, and the fact that even when their friends are speaking at school, they can't say, I went out with my father, because they don't have that. And also, even if you can be a single parent and you can provide financially, that gap, you can never be a father.
True.
I've heard people saying on Mother's Day that happy Mother's Day, happy Father's Day to my mother. Your mother can never be your father. She can never close that gap. So I think in some way I could say it's a selfish thing, especially if you are saying that financially I'm okay, I'm going to have a child because financially I'm okay. But you are forgetting the needs of the child, because that child needs both parents. And what's even said is that some parents, some ladies don't even want the child to ask about the father. They don't want you to mention it, because when you ask about the father, there'll be mentioned this, but I'm doing everything for you. What are you lacking? Why are you looking for that man? Because you have everything I'm providing. So I think as well, it's somehow a selfish thing to say, I want to have a child because I can afford, because I'm able to take care of the child. But in the long run, look at the traumas that it's causing to the child. And the worst part about it is that sometimes people have kids, they haven't even healed from their own traumas. They are bleeding on the kids. And now it's a generational thing. You are bleeding on your kids are going to do the same thing. They'll be bleeding on their kids. So for me, my take on this, it's really a selfish move, even if you can afford financially.
And also, to add on what you just said right now, practically you are raising a broken human being. You are starting a cycle that will never end, because it will just continue and continue and continue.
I'm curious about your opinion, ladies, the modern ones.
The way you're looking at us.
So when it comes to this point, I would look at it as, when having a child, does it have to be a biological child? Because if I can afford it, I can easily adopt a child if I want one. That child, at least I've got the sense of peace that that child won't resent me because the dad isn't there.
I think adopting a child is even making matters worse.
Yeah, definitely.
It's making matters worse.
Definitely.
Wow.
It's making matters worse because now your child is going to grow up knowing that I'm adopted. And remember, the kid that is being adopted, when they grow up and finding out that, oh, I was adopted, how do they feel about it? Why? Their rejection comes in that, you know what, it means my parents rejected me, hence this one came in.
But that's
It
not
means I was
always the
rejected.
case.
It's not always the case, but there's a bottom line.
Wait, the reason why I'm saying, like, it's not always the case that the child would want to know parents. Nowadays, like, agencies, they tell you of terms and conditions. Like,
It's not about the
if
terms and conditions, it's about the child. It's about
Exactly.
what the child needs.
It's
And
still
the
in-
child would want you to sit you down and
can
say,
I come in, please?
The child would want you to sit down and say, who are my real parents?
Yes.
As much as you were going to love this child, take care of this child, but there'll be a point where they want to know who they come from, who they are.
Okay, let me throw to you an example. Okay, just a minute. Let me throw to you an example.
Because remember, the kids have nothing to do with the terms and conditions.
A kid who is Asian, who's adopted by black parents, when they grow up, automatically they know that these are not
Trust
my
me,
parents.
it bothers
But then
However,
in
there's
a
trauma.
healthy,
There's trauma
in that.
It's not always a trauma.
There is
in
trauma
a
in
healthy
that.
household.
No,
but
it's not always
Trust
a
me, it
trauma.
does
It's
bother
not-
the child.
it's not
It
always a
bothers the
trauma.
child. And you
It's
know what
not- I
matters
think
worse is that
also-
imagine being black, being adopted into an Asian family.
You
And
stick
later
out like
on
a sore thumb.
they decide that, you know what, we're going to have our own Asian child.
Now you are black. You're sticking out like a sore thumb with an Asian family. You can say from a point of view of being outside, being like, oh, well, it's so cute. They're taking care of the baby. But trust me, from that child's point of view, it bothers them.
That
I
is
think
one case
also
in different
it's the stereotype that we have amongst black people that if then it could be because they've lost their parents. It could be because they had abusive parents. It could be because their parents were trying to save them from certain things. And then I could always step in as another parent and adopt the child. There's a process that happens. And as a parent, when you adopt, you also decide, do I tell them from the start that I'm not your parent 1, 2, 3? And again, either or, you could always experience traumas, whether you're with your biological parents or not. There's so many effects that could contribute to that.
However, it has magnified now, because now this person ended up at an orphanage. You come in as a parent to adopt them. Already that person is dealing with a lot. They are dealing with a lot already.
Them, it's not the matter of, okay, the society, what are the reasons? For them, they'll always wonder, why should I be the one to be adopted?
Exactly.
Why was I adopted? For the society, we can say, no, we don't know.
Can I then
this
ask
child
a
was
question?
saved from maybe abusive parents. But from the child's point of view, we need to look at it from the child's point of view, that they will always wonder, why was I adopted?
Again, from the
why
child's
am I the one that is adopted? Did my parents reject me? Were my parents abusive? The child will always wonder.
Also, from the child point of view, would you then not adopt a child that's on orphanage? Are they supposed to stay there forever? But do you know that they can only stay there up until 18? And a lot of those children there are longing to be adopted, are longing to have the family of their own, because they've never experienced that thing.
Technically, we don't know if they are longing or not.
But
that is just our misconception, and that is what we think.
Can I support my statement?
Sure.
I went to an orphanage for a Mandela Day. When I got there, I was having a conversation with one of the owners, and I was even asking her, then how does it make you feel if one leaves? And then she said, from 16 years of me doing this, I become sad, but I'm happy on their behalf because they all want to have a progress. And I had a conversation with the lady who was 19 years old. She told me that I had to leave the orphanage when I was 18. I've always longed to be adopted before that age, so that I would have a home. Unfortunately, whether you're employed or unemployed, above the age of 18, you have to leave. So I would assume that majority of those kids, they know already. They know the rules. They know that I cannot leave. I am sharing a room. Some kids don't even like sharing a room. They don't even like being amongst that group. In as much as it's happening, they are there and they need to adapt. But I believe every child has a longing of having a family of their own, not a team family.
I think we are not taking away the goodness of adoption. What we are saying here is that you cannot, because already adoption, there's traumas there. If you are adopting a child, you should be prepared to know that you'll be going for counseling for this child. There's traumas there. There's no one that can say that
It's not always
I need to bring some peace in here, Toko.
No, it's not always traumas.
I need to bring some peace there, otherwise they're going to become very vocal. My point of the question is, having a child, being single, because you are independent, what is the take in it? Because of course, when you think about adopting, ideally having a couple adopting, it would be better. But if someone who is single would like to adopt a child, I don't take the merit of it, because if I think the life of that child there, as it was mentioned before, at the age of 18, that child will have to go out and fend for him or herself. So she would love to have a home. So I'm not disputing the fact of adoption. I'm disputing it as in your mindset, capable women, independent financially, do you accept the saying of, you don't have a child, you are 34, 35, and you still did not do anything of your life? Would you have a child as a single lady?
I wouldn't take having a child as an achievement. So that means me having a child doesn't mean like I've reached the epitome of life, and me not having one doesn't mean that my life is like deep down in the hole. So having a child still it doesn't take away the value of my life, me not having a child as an independent and 35-year-old woman.
And also, who came up with this narrative that if you are 30-something and you don't have a child, you haven't made it big in life? Who came up with that narrative? Who?
I think also it goes back to the society stereotypes where they've created so many things. I mean, you're 30, you're not married, why? You're this age, you're not that, why? You've been studying, when are you getting a car? When are you getting your house? Da, 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 da. But I think the push more than anything, it has always been about the child and marriage, which I feel it's very important that we balance those things. If you want to teach me about having children and being a good wife, also teach me about how to be a good woman in my career, how to succeed and be able to balance both.
I wouldn't have a child because people out there are saying I'm 35 or I'm 40 and I don't have children. What am I doing with my life? Each one of us has their own journey. So because I'm 35 and I don't have any children or I don't have a child doesn't mean I'm not ever gonna have. So at my own time, when I'm comfortable or when I'm married, I will have a child if I want to.
And also, wanting to have a child should be a sole personal decision. It has nothing to do with the narrative of what are you doing with your life. It should solely be because that's what you want to do. And if you want to die without having children, that's also okay.
Still, yeah, that's still your personality.
It's not that deep.
So I think we have a match here.
Yeah.
Because the fact is both opinions, more modern, more conservative. You should not bring a child to this world just for the sake of saying, I have a child, I did something of my life. A child needs a family structure, right?
Yeah.
Now, Toko,
And
another question, or bomb.
Before I go to my question, someone asked, but who came with this narrative? You know, if you see the world we are living in, parents, they like to blackmail their children. You know, your mother says, oh, my daughter, you are 45 years old or you are 35 years old. I want grandchildren before I die. I want to see my grandchildren. So it comes from parents. Traditional homes are like that, you know, depending on the home you are coming from. Because
our family history will finish on you.
Exactly. For example, I come from a family that, you know, my father would say to me, you are not going to have a child until you get married. I want you to get married because you are going to embarrass me. You get it? But there are other parents that for them it's an embarrassment for your daughter not to have a child at 30. So it comes from parents and tradition. That's what I can say. I think you can agree with me more there.
I heard it over and over.
Me too, yeah. So going to my question now. The question here, does encouraging women to delay marriage and motherhood in pursuit of career and success ultimately benefit or harm them long-term and emotionally, biological or spiritually? Let me phrase it in a simple way. Does encouraging a woman, let me say a woman, to delay getting married or being a motherhood in pursuit of their career, does it harm them in a long term, emotionally, biologically, and spiritually? What do you think on that?
I personally think that it does, because we are human beings that are created to live with other human beings. You cannot function by yourself. You can have the car, the money, the apartment, and everything else. But what's the point of you coming back home to an empty apartment? Now, where's the joy in that? You can strive and become successful. Great, you travel, you do whatever. But at the end of the day, because we are emotional beings, we are hormonium beings, therefore we need compatibility. We need people that we are going to share our thoughts with. We need people whom we are going to share our days with. But now, if it's all about careers, this and this and this and that, then we are going to struggle one way or another.
I think my take on that is that I'm a bit on the fence with that one, because I do agree that to an extent that you can maybe delay a little bit, especially if you want to push your career, an academic I do agree with that. There's no need to put yourself under pressure and say that, you know what, let me just be quick. Let me just have kids, get married. There's absolutely no need. It is a personal preference matter. So I'm on the fence with that. However, on the other side, I do believe that there's things like biology, especially for us women. We know that when you get to 40 and now you've delayed to that extent, and now you are like, okay, now I'm 40. I have my career, I have everything, I've achieved. What do you then do? So hence I'm saying I'm a bit on the fence with that one.
I also agree with Portia. I mean, with this question, I think throughout the show I'm gonna be in between, because the questions they just put me in between. I mean, you find that we don't have time, all of us. No one has promised us time that when you get to 40, you're going to get married. When you get to 30, you can have your child. But I believe that as long as you are in content with what you believe in, to say, you know what, I don't want to have a child, or you know what, I want to delay until this time. If that time comes, thank God, then I believe that you can take that decision. But I don't think having to make a decision on timeline, where else you're not even sure if you're going to make it to that point, is a good idea.
And just to add on, what the sad thing that I've realized is that when people get to 40, 45, desperation kicks in, and then it becomes a problem, because you end up choosing whoever to have a child with. You end up settling now. It's no longer a matter of saying, okay, I'm choosing, I want Mr. Right. Because now you are 45, you are saying, okay, well, I have a car, I don't have a child.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm 45, I'll just settle. And then now you are raising trauma, basically.
I think the mistake here is actually the question gives an option. Would you rather have this or that? And I think it shouldn't be like that. It was never meant to be like that. We should always try and balance things out. You shouldn't be encouraging one to have kids and not a career, or vice versa. If then you could have it all, we have a number of human beings that have it all. If then you could have it all, why don't you opt to have it all?
There's never such a thing with balance. When you are trying to be a mother, you are working, you are studying, you are building a career. Something is going to lack one way or the other. So I think for the most part, people would rather choose to say, look, let me focus on one thing. Because you don't want to be a mother that is doing very well at work. You are showing up at work, but you're not present. The nanny is raising your baby because you are so busy. The nanny is the one that knows your child more than you, because you are so busy pushing your career out there, or maybe you are studying, or you are doing all of these things that you are doing because you wanted to do everything all at once. So I think that for me, it becomes a problem. Why don't you rather just say, can I focus on my goals for now? And then once I'm done with these goals, then I can move on to this. And the problem with that, imagine raising a child that is being raised by the nanny.
And I fully agree on what you're saying also. It's the same point that Portia said, that you can only pose certain achievement up to a certain time, and when you get there and you feel like it's late, it's delayed, then you can always go back and work on them. That's why I'm saying, if then you could have it all. You can never have it all at the same time. There's probably always one or two that's gonna lack, but rather look back and say, I did not achieve this, but I've tried.
What happens if you're 40? You have all these cars, all this money and all of that. What happens you're 40 and you are at an age where by now you can't give birth, you can't have kids, then what?
But what I just said is, you can pose certain achievement up to a certain time. And if you see that you're being delayed, then now you can go back and work on them. And what I'm trying to say is, you are in your 20s and you're saying, I don't want kids. And like you said, biology comes in. And when you see that biology is approaching, then start working on that and at least pose one. I think more than anything, we should opt to at least have it all, not just have one.
But I also think as well, it goes back to what's your priority. I mean, for some people it would be, you know what, I really want to push my career. But for someone it's like, I want to have a family first. So it should be what is a priority to you at that moment. Yeah.
Can we right now go to practicals? Huh? Are you ready?
Yes.
Just to complement before I make my other question.
Yes.
If you have, who is building a career here? Okay, so the question is for all of you.
Yeah.
Okay? You have to make a choice today. Both are important to build a family and to build your career. But you have to take only one, because you cannot have two. For argument's sake, your career is traveling, is extended hours. You cannot do it pregnant, because you cannot board an airplane after being 6-7 months pregnant, so you have to choose. What is your choice in one word?
I'm definitely
Capello?
building a family.
I didn't raise my hand.
But you can answer.
I didn't answer.
It does not excuse you from the answer anyway.
But I'd say what is on my mind, right?
Yes.
The reason why I didn't raise my hand, it is because of the structure that I have as a family. I don't have a personal career. I have a husband. I'm married. So I believe personally.
So your answer is you would have a child.
I think let me finish my
We
thoughts
have
now.
only one. Yes or no? Which one would you choose?
Okay, a child or a career?
Yeah. If you were in that situation, you have to choose right now.
A child.
Nantla?
Definitely a child, Miss Masha.
Portia?
Are we answering as of today, or hypothetically if I was 20, or
Today, if you had to make this choice.
career?
Career?
Career.
Bali?
Career, because I don't know how it's like to have a child, but I know how it's like to have a career.
Career also.
You see?
Yeah. I saw.
So we see that opinions mix.
Yes.
Even those who are more conservative, they would
Yes.
still prioritize their career.
Exactly.
No?
Yeah.
So now I have a question. Let us just change for a while the subject of family and motherhood. Let us go to finances. How do you think women will act in the future when it comes to financial differences? Would they accept having a man who earns more than them, or will they be equal? Or are we at? Will they accept to have a man earning less than them? What is your take?
In this modern society, women have equaled themselves to men. So I don't think that a woman would ever agree to having a partner or a man who is earning less than them. That is a fact.
So when you say equaled, women have equaled themselves to men in which criteria exactly? Is that in
Meaning-
general or in a specific area?
Wow, that's interesting. In terms of, let's use finance for this example. Women will not, in the future, they will not be equated with men who earn less than them. It's a fact.
Yes, that is true.
It's a fact.
But also, I think it's more of the facts from the men's side. Men alone do not want to be involved with women that earns more than them, more than women who wants to be with them. I think more than anything, most women, it doesn't really matter if you earn more than me or not, as long as you are able to provide and, you know, meets me to my needs. And I'm also mostly speaking for the feminist woman. I wouldn't mind, as long as you are able to be a provider in the house, we could always try and meet each other halfway. But in most cases, I think men's ego do not allow them to have a woman that earns more than them.
And also, you will be very disrespectful. It's a fact. Women are very disrespectful in general. If a man is beneath you, you are bound to be very disrespectful.
I think that's an individual, I think also that's an individual thought, knowing that I think if then it was on your side, then you would be disrespectful to your man. But if it, no, I'm just saying in general. Sorry, I know, I'm just saying in general because that's your thought, that's how you think. But from where I'm sitting, I wouldn't.
It's what I have perceived.
Yes.
Yeah, can we not put it on me?
Sorry.
But have you also-
But it is what I have perceived.
Have you also perceived how insecure men who earn less than women are when they've got women who earn more than them?
But I think
and the thing is,
sorry.
and I'm sorry, and also the thing is, like when a man earns less, okay, naturally, I don't know if naturally is the right word, but what we have seen, like in history, is that when a man earns less, it's hard for him to reach that level of, I don't know, to feel like he's actually the man of the house.
Yeah.
And in most instances, it leads them to do one of two things. Like they either just become lax and not do anything and then treat you as the man, expect you to do everything, or they become so I don't know if I can say abusive, but they try to lower down your self-esteem to make themselves feel better. You know, so definitely a man has to earn more.
Thank you.
But I think as well, sorry, Portia, I think we need to look at this as well from the creator's point of view. Men in general, they are leaders. Whether he's working, whether he's not working, right? This thing is in them, right? And I think a man who does not provide would feel less off. Whether they are, anyway. They would feel less off because I'm not doing what my responsibilities. I'm supposed to be the one who's taking care of my family. But then again, it depends on what type of a man do you have. I mean, there are men who would be providers and then life happens. They lose their job and then the women have to take over. I think it's that balance of if you have a man who understands that at this moment, my wife is the one who's working, my partner is the one who's working, then you would support your partner in that way. But if you have someone who would, as you were saying in your point, that women become disrespectful, I think it's how you get to align yourself in your relationship as well to say, my husband has been there, but now things have turned. You know, I'm the one now who has to take care of the family. So I think it's just that. That balance.
But also looking at how most women are now pursuing extra incomes these days. A woman could be working and then they have an extra, maybe a side hustle, they are doing makeups, or maybe there's just something on the side that they are doing. From that, I'm perceiving that in the future, most ladies are going to settle for men that are earning less than them.
That's correct.
From just looking at what's happening now, how we are so prone into extra incomes, and in most cases, it's always women. So I think in the future, we're going to have households where ladies are earning way more because she has more things that she's doing or extra income.
And that's why I'm saying I don't think women would have a problem. In most cases, it will be men that would have a problem with that, not women.
So conclusion, if were you, because I like the direct questions, né? In your case, it's another yes or no. You don't have how to explain, okay? A yes or no answer. Would you marry someone who would be earning less than you? Let us start by them.
Are we not explaining?
No?
What if they're watching? They need to know why I said
choices and consequences. That's what we advocate for. So, a yes or no?
This question is dooming us.
Noma?
Yes, I will.
Mbali?
Yes, but they still need to provide. Okay, sorry, yes.
Nobushi? No.
I definitely would.
Nampla?
Ms. Masha, is this episode going to air? Because
of course it will.
Of course. They're gonna think I'm not good people, Ms. Masha.
Yes or no?
Yes, Ms. Masha, yes.
Yes. Yes.
How many of you are single? Okay, so guys out there, don't fear, okay? They are defending the right of you being the leader. Don't disregard them from the love therapy as candidates to be married.
Yeah.
Just know what you're getting into. Toko, your next question.
Can a woman be fully feminist and still fully faithful, or are these paths fundamentally at odds?
Faithful in what way? In what?
Feminist and faithful.
And faithful.
Faithful to the man.
Faithful to what? Faithful in
Relationships, I think.
Yep.
Relationships.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
they can. They can. Yes, they can.
I think we all agree on this one.
They can.
I mean, when you look at
But
the feminists,
come on, people. Feminists, they thrive on independence. They thrive on having the same rights of men. So they can be with one today, with the other tomorrow. Why can men have many girlfriends and women cannot? Why we can have polygamy and we do not allow for polyandry in the courts of law in South Africa? Can we put feminists and faithfulness together?
Yes, I think also in terms of being unfaithful, that's a principle within your character. It's something that you decide on your own. It has nothing to do with being feminist. Feminist is being able to get it all the same way men are able, is to be able to step in when men couldn't, or where men can't, or where men believe they can. When you look at nowadays, careers are for everyone. It doesn't matter whether you're doing garden. You find women doing gardening. You find women being Uber drivers, which used to be something for only men.
Only men.
So I think faithfulness, it's an individual thing that has to do with one. It has nothing to do with being feminist or not.
Do you all agree?
Yeah, I think
So
I
we
do.
have one. Now, the next question. Are we teaching girls to build lasting character or just chase visibility, influence, and applause?
I think we are teaching girls to build characters more
Where?
than we are teaching men to build character.
Where are we teaching the girls to build character? Give me an
Can
example.
I
Where?
continue, please?
Sure.
I think we are teaching girls to build character more than we're teaching men to build character. That is why we have instances that's happening around the country right now. That is why we have girls being raped and killed by men, because we teaching girls how to dress up,
But
how
did you
to
get
act.
the question though? The question said, are we building girls to have a lasting character, or that was the question. Hence I'm asking, where are we building them to have lasting characters? Because now there's social media. There's social media. Social media is telling them what they should be, how they dress, how they should be, how they speak, what they should do. So where are we teaching girls for them to have a lasting character?
Can I
Where?
ask you a question?
Sure.
Is this not going to air on social media?
You are not answering my question.
No.
Where are we
Then
teaching
if
the
then you're
girls
gonna
to
say
have
yes,
a
that's my
lasting
answer.
character?
Is this
now
not
you
gonna
have
air on social
diverted and
media?
went somewhere else. My question is, where are we teaching girls to have lasting character?
The same way we are teaching them not to have one.
Where?
On social media. Is
Where?
this not going to spell on social media? Is this going to air on social media?
Wait, give me one good thing that social media has been a benefit to our girls.
This program.
That's some,
Okay.
Now it's deep.
Now it was deep. Wow. I love- wow. Wow.
Ever wish you could hit rewind on inspiration? That's what Women to Women is all about. It's not just a show, it's a series where women share their real stories, the tough stuff, the victories, and everything in between. Honest conversations that make you think, make you feel, and maybe even make you act. Catch us every Friday at 3 p.m. on Women to Women _TV. Missed an episode? No worries. Catch replays on Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp at Women to Women _TV and on Facebook at Women to Women TV. And tune in on Freedom on Air Radio, available on Play Store or Apple Store. Women to Women, where values are treasured.
Well, but generally, when we look at what is going on in your working place, family, interactions, even in the church, do you think that they are learning more about having character? So let us use even the example that we asked about feminists and being faithful. Or they are more into, because they see the example of influence, visibility, and it doesn't matter what I have to do to get onto it.
yeah.
The question now is on you.
I think our society currently is teaching young girls to focus more on the outside in terms of the makeup that you are wearing, the clothes that you are wearing, and how you're looking outside in general.
I think what I would add on is a personal preference, and it depends on the kind of household the kids are coming from, or the girl child specifically is coming from. So we cannot now shift the blame to say that girl children are not being taught character, putting it on social media, putting it out there and not taking it back home. So for me, I think it depends on the household. It depends on the parents. It depends on the values and the principles that are taught in that household to build character to that girl child. So it has nothing to do with social media. It has nothing to do what's happening out there, because now I feel like it will be shifting the blame. Now wanting social media to raise your child and say, oh, well, she's acting this way because she sees it on social media. But what is your influence in your child? Because at the end of the day, you are raising this child. This is your own child. So I think, yes, now social media has become so accessible, and it makes it somehow uncontrollable to decide and censor what exactly goes on onto your child's world or what really influences them. But for the most part, I think 90% of it comes from the household, because we do have, even right now in 2025, where social media, there's TikTok, there's everything, and kids are being influenced to do God knows whatever, but we do have families that are now grooming their own girls to do what they want them to do according to their own values, according to what is done in that household, even though they do have access to social media.
But
so
that's
for
a
me, I would
minority.
say it's literally a family thing. It is a household thing. It depends on the family and the values in that family.
It's a minority. It does not change the fact that it is a minority.
But it being a minority doesn't cancel the fact that girls are still being taught character.
I'm not disputing that, but however, I'm saying that it's a minority.
But I think I agree with Portia as well. I mean, I'm not raising boys. I'm not raising girls, sorry. I'm raising 2 boys. So my boys, how I choose to raise them is that I need to teach them every single day before they leave to school that this is how you're going to treat others. This is how you're going to treat a girl when you see them. This is how you're going to respond to your teachers. So I think, as Portia was saying, that it starts at home. We can't say that just because of the social media, we don't have to do our work. We don't have to do our own job as a parent to say, I'm the one who's responsible for these kids. I need to teach them how they treat the next person. I need to teach my boys on how they need to treat a girl child.
And also, just to add on, I think also we label social media all bad when there's actually 50-50. You decide which one you want to follow when it comes to social media. It's more of the principle of lives, like I say. The same way you decide which life you want to live. And to add on your first point, where we live based on our past experience. There's a boy child that I've seen their mother being abused by their father. It's up to them to decide, do I want to continue this lane or do I not? It's the same with social media. Do I want to feed onto this from social media or do I want to feed onto something good? It's within one's decision to decide what they want to feed on from social media.
I think the tricky part with social media is that you can never say it's 50-50.
Exactly.
I think with social media, the bad is always prevailing. You would see the things that are trending. You hardly find shows like this, woman to woman, trending on maybe on 2 million views. You hardly find. But find someone sitting there doing a challenge with heels on, and they trend. So I really can never say that it's 50. It's never 50-50.
But
And unfortunately, social media is always favoring the latter.
But
And
at the
also-
same time, sorry, it goes back to what she says, that it's a choice. I mean, if let's say, for example, I'll make an example with myself. I'm married, I've got kids, right? When it comes to social media, what do I choose to look at? I can't always look at women who are single and they don't have kids.
But remember,
I mean,
it's for
I've
a
made-
girl. That's
yes,
a
but
her
at the same
thing.
time, but
That's
at the
a you
same
thing.
time, yes.
Now we are speaking about a girl child.
Including boys as well, because I'm raising boys. So I'm saying, if let's say I've got kids, I've got boys, right? When I go to social media, I can't watch everything.
That's a you thing.
But you don't know what they have access to.
Exactly, that's a
But
you thing.
I'm a child. I'm a mother.
You are not with them 24/7. Kids are very smart.
And as a
Do
mother,
they
you
have
have
phones?
Kids.
Do
Oh,
you see that
trust me.
it goes back? No,
Kids will
I'll
find
talk.
resources.
I'll talk on my
Phone
on
or
my
no
kids.
phone, kids
let me
will
make
find
let me make an
resources.
example with my own kids. They have a phone that when I'm out, maybe let's say I've went out, I leave them with that phone. That's where I get to call them. That's where I get to communicate with them. There's what you call parents' control in the phone, right? I'm the one who gets to control that phone. So when, let's say, for example, my son wants to download the game, it reports to my phone. I got to check to say, you know what, this is what this game is all about. I have the power to reject that.
But I don't think
and
all
that
parents have access
minimizes
to
the
that.
opportunity
But at the
for
same time,
them.
that's why I'm saying it's a matter of choice. It's a matter of choice to say, when I go to social media, what is it that I'm looking for?
But that's a you thing. It's not a girl or a boy child thing.
But it
It's
goes
a
back to
you
the parent
thing.
as well.
Girls and boys don't think the way an adult would think. I think that's where we are missing it.
But when we talk about a child, I think let's go back to what is a child, right? I think if we can define that what is a child? I mean, if I have an 18-year-old in South Africa, you are legal. You are an adult now, right? But if I have a 6-year-old at home, it's a child. I'm responsible for that child.
More than social media is.
Exactly. So I have to be the one responsible of what my child watches. My kids, they don't watch things on TV. There's specific programs that they watch. They don't watch, and they don't have a say. They don't
I
have a
think
say.
I really get where Namhla is coming from when she says it's a youth thing.
Exactly.
For you are that parent, you are aware, you are woke. You know that I can have settings, I can control this, I can maybe minimize the things they see. But how many parents can say that about their kids? They can say that, you know what, I can control that. If they want to download something, I need to approve it. How many parents can say that? Because most parents just give their kids phones without actually doing all of those things. So I think it's a personal thing, it's a preference thing. So I get where she comes from when she says it's a you thing. When you keep saying that you control, you approve everything they do on their phone. So I really get where she's come from. It's a you thing. But how many kids, how do you know what their friends are doing at school? Because you could be controlling it from your side, saying, I'm going to approve everything, I'm going to decline. But when they get to the school, they have a friend where their mom is chilled, is like, do you? And then they are there saying, okay, look what I found, look what I saw, and they watch things that you wouldn't approve. So they are consuming that content. They are consuming that content without your knowledge, because for you, you're like, no. According to me, what I approve, he or she is not exposed to that. But at school, with their friends, on the streets, because at the end of the day, you don't hold your kids like this. Even like right now, you're not here, you don't know what they are doing. So they're exposed. So you can never be too sure and say, I do this, therefore my kids are protected in this manner. When your kids go to school, when your kids interact with other kids, their peers, and there's always peer pressure. We can never shy away from the fact that peer pressure still exists until today. So these kids influence each other.
Yeah, but again,
I think we need to step in now, Neto.
Yeah.
Let us step in now. Because fact is, we work with kids, we work with teens, we work with youth. And sometimes we come to know things that parents don't know.
Exactly.
Because of what they have been exposed to. What would you guys say about 12-year-old knowing very well about the next day pill? And then you ask, but who taught you this? My mother. What would you say about girls belonging to gangs to hijack people at the age of 11? What would you say about girls and boys who have a double profile in cell phone, which mom and dad don't know, and all of a sudden they are watching whatever they want? This is the reality that we see. So I didn't want to take sides in these questions, but I make it as an appeal to parents to act like this, knowing, Tapelo, that you will have a limitation because you don't have control over what they are watching with their friends. But parents, guardians, need to be more involved, exactly because these kids have been exposed more to influence, trends, challenges, and visibility out there rather than character. Because most of the things they are exposed to, it goes against two values. It's interesting to lie. So when you see a mother in the predicament that my child will get pregnant, so I will teach her the next day pill, we get shocked. Oh my gosh, which mom is doing that?
Yeah.
But she doesn't want her 11-year-old having a child. In one of the countries, I please apologize, but there was the headline that a girl, 10-year-old, was rushed to deliver a baby at the hospital, and because of complications, and she was brought in by parents, because of the complications, she died and the babe survived. a 10-year-old doesn't have a body to deliver a baby. So I see that with these challenges and social media and the pressure that is out there, out of the eyes of parents, educators, facilitators, church, they are being exposed to so much more, grooming them rather to visibility, influence, applause, rather than character. And you, Toku, would you agree?
Yes.
Because you work with them as well.
Yeah, I work with kids, and there was one country that I worked in. I spoke to this child, it's a girl, 8 years old, she was already addicted to pornography. Yeah, because in that country, pornography, you can get it anywhere in the streets. They sell the DVDs for kids, you know, around what, 1 rand. So a kid sometimes carries 5 rands at school, 20 rands. So they are curious because of their friends, you know. You can be a parent that is very strict, but there will be a limit. There will be a time that you won't be able to, you know, to control your kids anymore. Because kids, they meet people. They meet children in school, they meet their friends. And then there is the peer pressure. Someone spoke about that. Peer pressure still exists until today, not only in kids, even in elderly people. They are pressured, so they end up doing things out of that pressure. So the kids, at that moment, you can even be a Christian woman and with good values, teaching your children good values, but remembering that this world is controlled by the devil. So your child, you won't be able to monitor your child 24/7 because they go to school. Unless, even when you do homeschooling, it's still the same, because they will go outside and you won't be with them all the time. So they are going to be exposed to such things. Yeah,
that's true.
My last question is, from your point of view, how do you see men in power?
I like that.
Men in power. How do you see them? How do
In
you
what
view them?
context? At home, at workplaces?
Men
Is it for
in
home
power.
or workplaces
In
or just in
general.
Men in power, generally, like in power, like workplace. They're just in power. You know, when people are in power. Yes, I mean that.
Authorities,
Authority and all
boss,
that. Bosses at work,
boyfriend,
CEOs.
husband, pastor, friend.
You know, personally, as Portia, I support men in power. Now I'm for
support.
submission. So I really thrive on submission.
Yeah.
So now I really enjoy submission. So I support men in power. I wouldn't mind to have men in power at home, men in power at my workplace. But I think on the workplace now it becomes a bit tricky because there's credentials involved. There's credentials involved at the workplace. You know, it's not the same context as in within the marriage. So my take is, within my marriage, I prefer the men in power because I'm for submission. I love submitting to my husband. But when it comes to the workspace, we cannot now put someone in power just by virtue of being a man. So hence, I'm saying credentials comes into play in the workplace.
I'm also for submission. 100% submission. I'm good. I have no further elaboration.
I also support men in power, marriage, of course, and in church. I'll make an example. I had a conversation with my pastor's wife, right? So there was a week where I was in that month. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And I couldn't do anything. My emotions were all over the place. I couldn't even go to church. So that's, I think it was Wednesday when I talked to my pastor's wife, and I'm like, how should we take leadership? How do we as women lead inside of the church? Because does that mean when I'm a pastor as a woman, would church stop in that month or that week? That, you know what, congregation, this week there's no church because I'm not feeling well, right? So I men in power, always. Yeah.
Sorry, I want to say men in power, but I've worked for a company that was mostly led by women, and it has always been successful and continues to be successful. And I've seen how women work and push. And I think most of them, when you look at their goal, it's because I've got someone that I'm raising at home. My husband has passed on, or I'm a single mother. Or if then I don't have those things, I'm working toward a goal. I think with women, there's always a higher goal, and that's why they push through. But to add into your point, when it's that time of the month, it's ups and down. And you can't even judge the other woman, because when it's you are like that. But that part makes it a bit chaotic, but I also feel like it cannot be the only reason why women cannot lead.
Personally, for me, I don't really support men in power. I think there should be a balance. Yes, we can have men in power. We've had men in power for the longest. But yeah, forever. It took forever. But I also support women in power. I personally believe one day, maybe not today or tomorrow, but one day I can be a president, and if it's that day of the month, I think I can handle that.
Take leave.
Also, that is what happens to the country?
Exactly.
What happens to the country?
The vice president comes in.
But
Oh
also,
my
guys,
God,
we cannot
this is
normalize that day of the
interesting.
month, because it's not the same for everyone. We
Yeah,
cannot
that's
now
true.
sit here and say, let's capitalize on that day. No, it's not the same for everyone.
That's true.
I could be on that day, but I'm functioning pretty well, and
that's
someone
true.
else is the
That's
other
100%
side.
true.
So we can never base anything on
Yeah,
that, because
that's
it's
correct.
quite individual thing.
But I think we can also go for emotions. I mean, if we look at men and women, who are more balanced?
100% agree, men.
Right?
Men.
Imagine now you are in a meeting. You are a president, for example. And then there's a debate there that, you know what, the country is not going well. And then your tears are just here. What's going to happen?
But honestly, I think on a professional space, if you know how to have
make it
emotional intelligence,
You make it
I wouldn't
But does
put
that
gender
take-
in it.
Does
I
that
really would
does
not.
that take your woman side away? I mean, these things, when we talk about a woman, we're not talking about the outside. Remember how men and women are not created the same, right? In terms of how we think, maybe, or in terms of how we react to things. I mean, there was a show here that the question was, who have thought of maybe this marriage will not work? And women were the only ones who said, no, we see that this marriage is not going to work. But men were like, no, we're good. And I think it was mainly because of what they were, the challenges that they were going through as women, to say, no, man, I don't think this marriage will work. But that on its own, it shows the level of, what's the word?
Emotions.
Yeah, the level of emotions of how we women can go.
I think the issue of emotions for me, I think it's an individual thing. Honestly, I've met women in workspaces where they are super professional. Even if they are cornered, they are put in a corner, they are still acting professional, even under complete pressure. I've met men who are completely losing it. Yeah, like I've met men who are so feminine and they are completely losing it. So for me, the issue of emotions has to do with an individual and how well you know how to handle your emotions and know this is not the space for me to break down. Now I'm leading, I'm a leader, I'm here as a woman, I'm a leader, yes. Maybe I'll go to the bathroom and break down. After that, powder your nose and come back and lead. So the issue of thing, it has to do with emotions, it has to do with an individual per se.
Can I
how
jump
you
in
handle
there?
your emotions.
We cannot box emotions in just breaking down and crying. There are people who are very emotional, but they don't cry.
Exactly, 100%.
And that is the way of,
100%.
Of them portraying their emotions. They look strong, but they are very emotional. So the person, when the person cries, it doesn't mean that they are emotional.
Yeah.
And the other person is not emotional because they
Hence
don't
an
cry.
individual
So we
thing.
can't box emotions in one box. They come in different ways.
Yeah.
There are people that when they are emotional, they don't want to talk to you, but they don't cry. They don't break down. There are people that when their emotions take over, they just yell at people. So the emotions, they come different. It's not everybody who cries. And there are those now who are very cold. The woman is mean. You see, she's mean. She doesn't even empathize with your pain. It's because she's too emotional.
Hence, I'm saying, Ms. Toko, it's an individual thing. It
Yes.
has to do with an individual and how they contain their emotions.
Yeah.
But we can agree that men make better choices than men because they are not programmed to become emotional. They are functional, sober beings, regardless of the 5% of Princess Sophia or Sophia the First. Leave the minority, because it's a minority. Leave the 5% of Sophia the First, but men generally are programmed to reason soberly, whereas we tap into our emotions, and it comes in all
I don't
different...
agree to that.
Also, I don't.
I don't, because I think the reason why you may be thinking that way is because women have been sort of like told, like
Stereotyped.
stereotyped, but also
Are you
have
a
been
feminist
forced
now?
to
What's wrong with you?
been forced to a corner of thinking like this is the space for men, this is the space for women. In workplace, you can't occupy executive positions. You can't be that. So, because I haven't experienced that position, you don't know how I'm going to react, how I'm going to take decisions in that position. So that is why, I think that is why the whole concept of feminism came about, is because women were pushed aside. Like, you can't decide on this. They weren't even allowed to vote and stuff like that. So I don't think that is true.
And
there's a lot of anger in that. For the fact that you feel like you can be an equal with the men. That there's a lot of emotion. It's an emotion.
I don't want to
it's
be
an
equal.
emotion because you think men this, me this,
Wait,
me
wait,
this,
wait.
me that. It's
Is it
an
even trying to
emotion.
prove a
I
point?
don't
You
want to
are
be
always
equal.
trying to prove a point.
it
It's an
trying to prove a
emotion.
point?
Wait.
It's an emotion.
Can I tell you?
Yes.
I have no desire to be equal to a man. But if I'm qualified at work, if I'm qualified as much as the next man, I don't know, maybe he's 10 years older than me, but we have got the same experience, I demand the same benefits that he gets to get. Because the reason why feminism came about, it was because women were pushed aside. They were second-class citizens. They couldn't vote. They couldn't get education.
What is the definition of a feminist? A feminist?
A feminist is someone who's okay, not book dictionary, but basically someone
According to you.
According to me, someone who's fighting for rights of women, for
An
equality.
emotion.
When I say equality,
An
when I say
emotion.
equality, I don't want to be weighing 150 kgs and lifting weights. I want to be at work seen and respected as the next man who would be regarded for a CEO position because I'm qualified, not because I'm a woman. That is the equality I'm talking about. At home, like, to be respected, but not be treated like the father, but be respected for my role as a mother. In the family, my voice also to be heard, because we know Africans, family meetings, it's only the malumes and the dadomkulu who are speaking. The women, even if my point is valid, no one cares to listen to me because of what?
You're a woman.
Because I'm a woman. That is the equality I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Anything else regarding to men, they can stay that way. We don't have desire to that unless other women think otherwise. But that is the equality, and that is the feminism, that the origin of feminism, actually.
And I also, sorry. And I also don't think every decision made by a woman is based on emotion. If you are in corporate, whether you like it or not, you are forced to make decisions based on facts. It doesn't matter what are your emotions. And if your emotions are high at that point, you need to run, fix them, and come back and make decisions. Because whatever decisions you've made based on your emotion, it's going to come back to you. And I would also like to ask Ms. Masha and Ms. Togo, that if there was any chance for you right now, you were angry that one is late, would you make decisions based on one person being late and decide we're canceling the show now, we can't do this, or would you be realistic with it?
Of course we have to.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because we are guided by reason in that matter.
Exactly.
Now I want to put you all in trouble. And that is our last participation from them. We spoke about men in power, right? You can't be a feminist in the workplace and someone more flexible in other areas of your life. Do you agree?
100%.
Either
Yes.
or. It's your nature. You have to find balance. When we talk about men in power, how do you see the role of a pastor? Because you are all from the Universal Church.
Yes.
That's a good one.
And who you find preaching for you on Sunday?
Sure, that's
Not
a good
women
one.
in corporate.
No, but that's a fact.
Yeah.
I'm talking about how do you see men in power? If there is equality in terms of experience, it's up to that organization to choose who they want to employ. And we have here a mixed group of employees of men and women alike with the same position and same benefits. But how do you see, when we talk about men in power, how do you see your pastor? how would you see your husband?
I think I'm going to be a bit sorry about that.
Tell us.
Sorry. I think for me, how I see that, it goes back to now the anointing. So for me, I would think that because the pastor is the one that was chosen, and then of course he has a helper as the wife. The wife is there to help, to assist him. But I've never had a problem with the pastor being in charge or being the man in power, because I've always looked at it from a point of anointing. Yes, the wife is also anointed, but essentially we know us wives, we are helpers. We help our husbands. So I've always looked at it in that way, that, oh, the pastor is the one that is ordained by God for that mission. Of course, the wife is there to assist. Whatever that is required, she can help however she can or however it is required of her. But for me, it goes back to the point of anointing, that the pastor is anointed and ordained for that, and the wife is there to assist.
And also, just to add on, I think also for me, it has never clicked to me that when the pastor is there, is in power, he's more powerful than any other person. We've seen a pastor's wife. For me, for an example, I'll make an example. In my progress of growth and growing within the church and also in my spiritual life, I've been helped by pastor's wife more than pastors. I've had more relationships with pastor's wife than I had with pastors. So for me, it was never power. I've always believed that if a pastor can stand there and set a prayer for me to heal me from this, so is the pastor's wife.
And then, who else?
Mm-hmm.
I think the silence.
Yeah, it tells it
I've
all.
never thought about this.
Yeah.
So now, Toko, to wrap up this, what it all means.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
By the way, we would still have 8 questions which we
still
did
have a
not
lot of
address because it
questions.
was a heated debate.
Yeah, but it's time.
Another opportunity then.
Yeah. You know, this show, this program of today, it was not about who's going to win the debate, who's going to lose. It's just, you know, everybody has their own opinions.
Yeah.
But there is one thing that is not like other people's opinion. That is the word of God. It is our compass. It's our guide. So that's what I can say, that everybody will come with their opinions. Even our viewers, they will come with their opinions, sometimes disagreeing with what our guests were talking about. But one thing remains, the word of God is our guide, is our compass. So we should always run back to the word of God and be able to be humble that, let me be humble that this word helps me and guides me as the compass. That's what I can say today, Miss Marsh.
So talking about the word of God,
Yes.
I think I have to bring to you God's point in this.
Yeah.
And of course, we are not here to say what is right and what is wrong. That's why we had this heated debate. You know, looking into different minds, different experiences, different exposures. And I think like this, we celebrate the legacy of women and we look towards the future. Because some of things, they must remain as it is, and others, they need to be changed. There is a promise from God in Psalms 25:9. He says, the humble, he guides in justice, and the humble, he teaches his way. It starts by the humble, because we never know the answers to all the questions, especially when it comes to decide personal issues of life. When we are confronted by different situations, we are confronted by social inequality. We don't have all the answers. But if we turn to God, He will guide. He will tell us what to do, how to choose, what are we ready for. And if we are humble, He will teach the way. So in every situation that you have, maybe you had your own answers to those questions. Maybe they open up your mind to different possibilities. Take it to God, because God is the one who will guide and who will teach the way. If we put our perceptions aside and we embrace God's perception in that situation, do I take this job? I don't. Do I follow this? I don't. Do I disregard this situation or I don't? We will be safe. And if we teach our girls, our peers, to do the same, the future of women will be bright. If we just led by our own perceptions or the influence of the world, then we may run into failure. If it's not by God, we cannot prevail. So I would like to thank you, all of you who have participated with different ideas, with different perceptions, but let us all embrace that God has the right way. And Toko, let us pray for the beautiful women, not only in South Africa, but throughout the world.
Yes.
No?
Let us pray, please. Heavenly Father, in the name of your Son, the Lord Jesus Christ, my God, we thank you for this beautiful program of today. And we believe, God, that many are going to be helped through this program. We just ask you that you help them to be humble so that they can be teachable, my Father. Because only when we are teachable, that's when we are going to learn, my God. So I bless each and every woman that is watching this program, my Lord. In whatever situation they are, or maybe they are facing some challenges, be it in their family members, marriage, my Lord, or with their kids. Today, my Lord, I ask you to help them. Give them guidance, my Lord, on how to deal with their problems, my God. Do not allow them to be emotional when it comes in dealing with their children or their marriage problems, my God. Help them and guide them, because Father, you are the only guide. You are the only true guide. You will always guide us to the right path, my Lord, because many people, they open their ears to the noise of this world. So today I ask you that you help each and every person that is listening to this program to open their ears to you, my Lord, to your word, and put your word into practice so that they can be able to see changes in their lives and be able to glorify your name, my Lord. I bless all of them, my Lord, through this month, my Lord, bless them. Those who have challenges looking for jobs, searching for jobs, may you please open the doors for them, my Lord. Open the doors of great opportunities so that we can have testimonies. Even those who do not come to the church, my Lord, they will write on the comments of our program, giving their testimonies, my Lord, through this program. I pray for each and every person, and I thank you, my Lord, for all the guests that are here who shared their views, my Lord. I bless them as well for your honor and for your glory. In Jesus' mighty name I pray. Amen.
Amen. So on that, I think we concluded the month of August in South Africa on high note, at least on heated debate.
Yes, we did.
And there we wait for what God is preparing for us for this month of September. I've seen the lineup, and it seems very interesting, challenging as always, and confrontational as well. We meet you right here next week, 3 p.m. God bless you all. Bye-bye.